Secondly, if you have a problem being nonviolent, in full, because either you are nonviolent or you are not nonviolent, there's no real middle ground there. Trust me. I've tried to find it for years. There is no middle ground. Either you're violent or you're not violent. If you have a problem with being nonviolent, which is one of our core values, maybe this is also not the place for you. Now, lastly, we are an open movement. We have no secrets, except in our private secret meetings. We
Hold on.
are an open
Just let it
movement.
go, guys.
We have no secrets. If you are offended by anything I've done, you are welcome to come talk to me. But we are acting like children here. We really are. And that's my honest opinion. And not one of you will stop me from saying that opinion out loud, as loud as I possibly can. Dissent is key to this whole process. And when you try to shut that down, you're just as bad as any authority figure out there.
Okay. That's all Evan has to say.
Zach,
Hold on. No, we're not going to have any direct responses. We're just going to listen. We're going to listen to everyone.
Can you do another deep breath so I can catch our picture?
Another deep breath, everyone. Okay,
Deep breaths are good. We need a lot of them.
And really, I mean, this is really hard. And I feel like, it makes sense that all of these things are coming up. So if we can just honor that, take a deep breath. And Leanne, let me know when you're ready, because she is an amazing note taker. And we need to make sure that this is down. Yes. Okay. Zach and then Herb. Zach,
so I've been doing, I started the website, and I've been pretty much doing all the online presence for this. Kind of means I follow, I get every email, I read every email that's sent to me, that's the emails. I follow all the press articles, I read every single one.
You do a lot?
And, well, I'm just saying, and so I kind of have a certain understanding of what's going on. I don't know everything, I'm not trying to say that. I just say that I'm trying to present that I have a good idea of what's going on. And I was at this so-called secret meeting on Tuesday, which it was news to me to come on Wednesday to find out that I was at some kind of secret meeting. And so what I just am troubled by really the most is just the depiction. I think it's one or two things that are causing the problem, and it's just calling this idea of this faction and the secret meeting and the secrecy, which I think that's kind of created. I feel like what happened was it was one or two individuals that had a personal problem that told someone not to come, and that just sparked, I don't know what that sparked. It sparked something, and I come back the next day, and all of a sudden there's secret meetings and there's factions. That was news to me. I was news to I feel like most people, most particularly the people at that meeting who we didn't talk we told people what we talked about at the meeting. If you wanted to come, you could have come. That was my belief.
It was an open meeting. I was there.
And a lot of people that didn't know about the meeting were at the park. We just said, well, we're having one. Do you want to come? And we drove people over there. These things kind of happen all the time. And we're not gossiping. We're not going to plot something. We're going to organize and build an infrastructure. And we actually planned 2 meetings for this week and next week on how we're going to redefine the idea of public space. And we did talk about nonviolence and all that. We just had a dialogue about it. And so the problem about this article is it's talking about things that were just said in almost a very well, this is just kind of how I feel. Now the article says, well, this is how this is fact and this is objective, and it's not. And I have a personal problem with just because my face is on here, and it says Occupy fissures may lead to conflict. A subgroup wants more conflict. And I know we can't control the press, and so what I'm saying is I feel like we really need to have a press response in which we say that this is not appropriate. We invite you to come really experience what's true or not, but this isn't. It's dangerous because this is creating a reality. Whether or not this was true before,
so we have to address it.
The reality has been created. Now there are factions that I didn't know before. This is all new. Now there are. They exist now because you said they existed. They didn't exist before. And now that like people, like new people come in and they hear, oh, there's factions. What are you talking about? And they don't have an understanding of what's going on. And now everyone thinks there's a faction because you just said. I mean, that's the real problem that I have. And like, I really respect, like, you know, you're right. You can say anything you want. That's totally true. And I don't ever want to say that you can't. I just really, I don't know. I'm just kind of, it's just a little, something is wrong, and I don't know what it is. Like, cause I don't know. All right.
Okay, it's Jim, and then Ed, and then Ashley. Do you have something you want to say, Jim? Well, Jim and Ed have been waiting for like 15 minutes. I know, we need to get her back.
Did pass earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, some of it's just basic group dynamics. So I think looking at the article, stripping down to a few bare facts, somebody said that some folks have some ideas that are what we don't like. How much truth there is in it, I don't know, but we should not presume to think what the police will think or anybody will think about us based on what they read in this article. Be the face of the movement. The police are here, you meet other people of the police, you be the movement, and they know who we are, I think. They, if there are radical elements leaning toward dangerous, I sure hope they know about that, and you should be sure to help them know. I want them to be safe. I want them to help us be safe. Don't jump to the radical conclusion that this article is automatically forming a stream of consciousness that is separate and apart from what is happening day after day here. Okay?
Thank you very much. Next, Ed.
I guess first of all, I think that factions started way back at the point where there was that guy, I don't know, Justin or Justice?
Anonymous
Jason, anonymous guy. But the guy who had his agenda and was concerned about money and talking about secret meetings. Because we didn't respond by trying to include him more, but rather by pushing him away. I think that any time, in any context, we uninvite people from participation in anything that they want to be participating in, as long as their behavior during that moment of participation is respectful and following the process, we are creating factions. I would like to see us stop that. I think it's very important that we have unity internally, that we respect each other. I don't think that we can really call ourselves respectful of one another if we're not listening to one another and hearing one another's concerns as openly and honestly as we can. I think we also need to be very careful about drawing a distinction between when people are thinking about things and have ideas versus people actually deciding direction for the movement as a whole. The movement as a whole, our group, Occupy Charlottesville, makes its decisions by consensus in the General Assembly. So any decision that anybody or any other group of people make and go off and do by themselves, that's their own freedom as individuals, you know? And we may disagree with it, we may express our opinions about it in the General Assembly, we may personally dislike them even for that, but we still should try to understand where they're coming from and respect them and their right to do that. The same way we wish our right to be able to be in the park, express ourselves to the broader community, we expect that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
One more thing.
I'm try to wrap up really quickly. The broader community is represented by the police and the city council. They also have a tremendous ability to impact what we do here. If we work well with them and we collaborate with them, we have a very good chance of being able to set a pace for what this movement can look like across the country, not just here. In particular, I would suggest that
the one gentleman who suggested that no specific response is necessary to this article is very right. I think what we instead should be doing is looking for ways to project what we actually want to project, rather than getting tied up responding to things that don't accurately represent us. We should say, okay, here's what we want to do. We want to be in the park. If we agree that we're going to stay past a permit, then we should express that we're going to do that. We should plan for it. We should maybe even be so preemptive as to go seek a restraining order against the city council or the police to have a restraining order against them evicting us, based on our under our rights under the Virginia Constitution for freedom of assembly, which overrules local ordinances. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Ed. Herb, Ashley, and then Shannon.
Okay. Well, I met Evan on the way back from the UVA president's house where we met, and we talked a lot, Evan, and I really responded to you in a way where I